All right. Are the four of you ready to get started?
Yes.
Yep.
As ready as I'll ever be.
Yep.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is Grimith, your storyteller, with Aaron, Krypsyn, Jordan, who's broadcasting this live on his Twitch channel, and Sean, with Chapter 9 of our Vampire the Masquerade story thing set in New York City. Sunday, February 8th, 1998. We're in a new month, everyone, but don't get too excited. It's still cold as fuck in New York City. What's happening in the world? Well, let's see. The United States Senate passed a resolution urging President Cliff Benton to take all necessary and appropriate actions to respond to the threat posed by Iraq's refusal to end its weapons of mass destruction programs. A United States military plane clipped cable car lines near Trento, Italy, killing 20. An earthquake measuring 6.1 on the Richter scale in northeastern Afghanistan killed more than 5,000 people and devastated countless others. And just yesterday, the Winter Olympic Games opened in Nagano, Japan. Ha-fucking-za. In kindred-specific matters, the concrete jungle has grown increasingly unsafe with the disappearance of Sheriff Qadir al-Asmai. Apparently, him being gone for even one day without saying anything to anyone was a big deal, let alone a week. In addition, little more than a peep has been heard from the Anarchs during all this time, and those of the Ivory Tower are continuing to ostracize the Gangrel, who remained within the city after the clan's sudden departure from the Camarilla sect. Would you all provide a recap in your own words of what your characters have done during the past week of downtime?
Well, Marcus has been spending the entire week pretty much partying, getting drunk, partying some more, getting more drunk, and repeat ad nauseum. It's pretty much what he did.
Sounds like a good plan.
I've been doing human things.
Like the kidnappings?
Like the kidnappings. And like, eating and going for a daytime walk in the park.
Who needs to eat these days? Who needs to eat these days?
Joseph's been poking around Elysium, not trying to make waves, but just trying to get a feel for how things are, and has turned jack shit.
Yeah, Byron briefly contemplated suicide by going to Greenwich Village and poking around, and then decided that he would just hit Elysiums and various art shows and stuff around Manhattan without vampires. They'll kill him. But he did find information about the various vampires that are vying for the princedom. So, y'all ready for an info dump? I'll tell you what I've already told Sean over the Skype pretty much.
Hit us up.
All right. Well, there are 5. Well, now 4 that the sheriff is gone. Kindred that are publicly seeking the princedom. You've got Eileen Panhard and Carter Vanderweyden. You know those two. Then you have Regent Eugenio, called Genie Estevez. He's a Tremere, obviously. And Marlena, a little-known Bruja, or Bruja, however you want to pronounce that. Yeah, Marlena is not a big deal. Even the Bruja, the Bruja are more interested in holding Theo Bell up as an example for someone to be prince, even though he has no designs on that position that anyone knows of. And most people would rather a Nosferatu than Marlena, because she's just such a non-factor. As for the others, Catherine Weiss, Bruja, and Thomas Artura, the Toreador Harpy, tentatively support Helene. High Regent Aisling Sturbridge, a Tremere, is thought to favor Genie for the princedom, which makes sense. But Valentine and Regent Ephraim, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, or Imp Wainwright, a Tremere, they're publicly undecided, actually. And while he was in Elysium, Byron did notice that he did see some guards he recognized, but yeah, they were pretty much shut down. People were really wondering where the sheriff is. And he kind of got wind that maybe the sheriff may have told someone what he was doing before he left, although he didn't see anyone paying particular attention to him. That about sums it up.
And what about Vanderwayden?
Are you sure that was a summary in your own words of paraphrase, or was that everything I gave you?
Well, I did print out the Skype, and I was using them as bullet points. So, yeah. Anyway, I didn't think Byron had a reason to really hide much of this information, but could be wrong. Let's see. The other part of the time he worked on bringing the business back up to snuff. So we have, I believe, 4 dots and resources there again, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Oh, and as for Carter Vanderwayden, I didn't. As far as Byron knows, he is vying for the princedom, but he doesn't know of any standout kindred that are backing him publicly at this point.
He is Malkavian.
Right.
Reaper Oa, too. Oh, man.
They're multiplying.
Yeah, my connection dropped for a second, and for some reason it locked that name in.
I fucking step away to take a phone call right after I tell you all to do your recaps, and I come back and Sean's, doing mitosis or whatever. Krypsyn's giving a summary.
I did call it an info dump, not quite a summary.
Right. Was that everyone's?
Those are all rumors, by the way. I will say. I mean, if you couldn't figure that out, this is just Byron's interpretation. So he could be wrong. It's been known to happen.
Right. Was that everyone's?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, in that case, sunset does not happen until 5:22 p.m. The night is cool and crisp. I think you all had a vague concept of everyone gathered together at Joseph's church after a week to discuss strategy. Well, Jermaine, you're obviously the first to act. Byron will wake up at 8:22 p.m. Marcus and Joseph at 9:22. Please set your blood pools accordingly. And, righto, are there any questions or comments from you four, before you all go about your evenings? Otherwise, I'm leaving the roleplay to you four.
Yeah, there is one quick question that Sean and I were going to ask you. About how many kindred are in Queens total? Just the borough?
You don't know. You've never bothered to take a census. There's over 200 kindred in the entirety of all 5 boroughs combined.
The main question was, are they mainly packed into Manhattan, or is Manhattan really controlled by just a handful of people and everyone else spread out everywhere else?
Everyone else is spread out everyone else. Manhattan is left for the Chile. The folks who basically arrived here first and had the most impact in the Battle of New York. Valentine, Qadir al-Asmai. You can assume Prince Calibros is probably there, at least below the ground somewhere. The Tremere in particular have a massive presence in New York City. The extent of which you of course know the primary chantry location in Barnard College, but you don't know where the rest of them are. But there's a definite if the 200-ish so kindred, there's definitely more in Queens or pretty much in any of the other boroughs individually than there are in Manhattan.
Okay, that was what we were mainly wondering about.
So I'm assuming Jermaine arrives at the church first.
Yep. I was actually wondering if we wouldn't instead meet at the new site of the real estate business.
You can certainly do that if you so wish.
Sure. I mean, if you call up Byron, he'll call you back and say, yeah, let's meet there.
Then that's where he'll be waiting.
Byron will show up there and he'll start that, start that info dump with you in character as well.
Does Byron plan on telling everything to Jermaine before the others arrive? Everything that he just said whenever I asked you to provide a recap?
No. He'll say that he found some
Well, then you
information
need to
about-
state explicitly what it is that he's going to tell people.
Fine. All right, yeah, he'll mention that he found some more information about the politics in Manhattan, which might give us a direction to go moving forward. And he'll wait till everyone arrives before he goes into that.
Make sure you copy your tokens from the Five Boroughs map. Let me know when all of you have.
That's just Control C, Control V, right?
Yup.
Copied.
I should have copied mine.
All right, although I'm in the basement for some reason.
There, the new O'Malley real estate. Strangely enough, looks remarkably similar to the old one.
I mean, it's probably built in the same style of brownstone or whatever.
I just like the compact disc disco floor that's in this one as well.
Oh, definitely. Curiously enough, though, you don't know how to get to it.
We know there's a room in this building that has a compact disc disco floor, but we don't know how to get to it.
No, you gotta go for a higher level of pun. Disc O floor.
Well then, there you folks are, on the map.
I mean, I don't see Joseph, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I keep getting an error now.
What error?
Whenever I try to paste, it pops up with a technical error.
Well, that doesn't help me at all.
Yeah, sorry, it's reloading. I tried to recopy it.
Suppose I'll just copy the son of a bitch myself. There. Control C, Control V. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I think we're all here now.
All right, so now this is when Byron will, in character, give that info dump I just gave a few minutes ago.
So it's too late to get a head start then.
It would seem that way.
You probably couldn't copy the token because you didn't actually own it due to the fact that you had signed on as Reaper OA 2 instead of Reaper OA. I just thought of that.
Yeah, I just disconnected and reconnected, and it works fine now. I couldn't move it either, and now I can.
So what's the plan?
Byron will have discussed a little bit of this with Joseph. Byron's initial instinct was that perhaps we should approach Valentine, since there is a power vacuum, and at this point, it's obvious the sheriff is gone. We should perhaps look for allies. But Sean told Byron to just hold off on that, and he's like, all right, whatever. And I'll let Sean say what Joseph said or not.
Well, what we need is allies. That's true. We need someone that'll help us. The problem is we also need someone that is not going to have something over us, that's not going to control us. Someone that is more under our thumb than we're just assistants to them, especially because of this situation we're in, which leads us to be very easily cast aside and thrown to the dogs if something goes wrong. We need to grab power for ourselves.
Plus, I mean, clan allegiances aside, didn't you at one time suspect Valentine of manipulating the Fratellis?
Yeah, but that's a minor thing compared to whatever's under the ground.
Oh no, I totally understand that. I'm just saying, he might not necessarily be looking for you as allies. If you know what I mean.
Yes, that's true. I think the greatest problem we have right now is that we have so little to openly offer to anyone.
As it stands now, I think that your best bet is either to go for an underdog, or, I mean, do you have a rapport with any of them?
David Green had a rapport with Carter Vanderweyden.
So, it sounds to me like your choices are Vanderweyden or the Bruja, unless you have a different suggestion.
Well, what Byron and Joseph discussed is maybe we should pick none of them for now, and just see if anyone makes their move. We can only jump in later after chaos starts. That was Byron's point.
That's true. You can wait to play your cards.
Until then, and this is where the how many kindred are in queens is we would seek out nearby kindred to us and try to form a group with them, like get kind of an alliance of people outside of Manhattan, since most of the war, Byron figures at least, will happen on Manhattan, because that's where all the major players are, essentially.
I'll say that you're looking at about 50 kindred and, well, at least 50 vampires, rather, in Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Staten Island. The remaining leftovers, of which there might just end up being a few dozen, are in Manhattan.
Gotcha. Because, and I don't want to talk for Joseph here, but his point was that with Elysium's shut down, it might be easier to get a grouping of vampires in Queens. I mean, not an official Elysium, but it'd be easier to get a meeting with them, maybe.
Yeah, that was a point I mentioned to Byron. Um, if we can set up something like Elysium while they're shut down, we can have at least a greater hand in politics while this chaos is forming. Things are going to happen, and if we do decide to bide our time, during that time, while we're waiting for the shit to hit the fan and everyone to start trying to kill everyone, um, it would be best for us to get as much power, as much control as we can, and Queens would be a great place to start for that. If we control the next best thing to Elysium, obviously we shouldn't say that we're starting an Elysium that calls far too much attention to ourselves. But if we control what is almost Elysium, that does buy us some in with the borough itself, the kindred in the borough.
Well, you have to remember, if we say we're trying to protect the kindred in the borough because we're trying to have this safe zone in the borough, we are the coterie that just had a bunch of us attacked multiple times by the Sabbat. And one time we actually had to basically run away. We don't exactly have the best reputation to protect our livelihoods here.
Well, I think we could also spin it that since we were the ones attacked, we have the most experience with it. And, by the way, we have not been driven off yet. Sure, we got stuff blown up, had to rebuild, but we didn't die. So
we're standing here, and they're not. There is at the very least a spin to that. It is true that some people will look at that as making us dangerous to associate with, but other people will see we've fought the Sabbat. After the battle, very recently, we fought the Sabbat and we've won.
Before you guys start making any plans about setting up some sort of power base here in Queens, you gotta remember that one of the most dominant powers here in this borough is the Giovanni. You might want to have some kind of contact with them, have them on your side in some way before you start setting up anything that crosses multiple neighborhoods.
The Giovanni, for their part, which you kindred are fair to know, having lived in Queens most of the time, pretty much stay relegated to, I mean, it's a big fucking deal, John F. Kennedy International Airport, but their domains, as far as you know, it's not officially declared a domain, it's just under their control. They're not a part of the Ivory Tower. It's just that their influence is pretty much based within JFK. And pretty much you could likely avoid having to deal with them so long as you didn't try to do anything with JFK.
Fair enough.
The moment you tried that, though, you'd probably have to talk with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I'd totally forgotten about the Giovanni, and that is a different angle because they're not. I mean, they're kind of even a fourth entity beyond Anarchs, Camarilla, or Sabbat. So.
Don't forget Setites. There's all kinds of independents you can work with.
You folks keep talking. I gotta take a phone call for a few minutes, but I'll be right back.
Now, what about Rikers? Would you be extending a hand to Carter Vanderweyden when it comes to forming this Queens coalition?
Well, the way I was imagining it was not so much a formal coalition, not so much anything formal where we declare what we're doing, but just making it known that one of our properties is open for other people to come and meet as long as they respect it. That while the Elysiums are all but closed down, they can come in and have some place where we can discuss politics, where the neo-Nazis in Queens can get their hand in the door, get their foot in the door, and where we can make contact with these neo-Nazis. Obviously, never say we wouldn't want to say no, these people aren't allowed in. No, these people are what we're trying to do, or this is what we're trying to do. Just sort of make some basic steps and see where it goes from there. At least that was what I was imagining.
Well, I mean, that's fair, but the impression I got from what Byron was saying is forming some sort of small-scale alliance in order to curry political favor.
It's kind of a setup for that. The way Byron thinks of it anyway is that he figures that if he takes control, or if the coterie takes control, then they will be seen as, at least, I mean, they'll be showing leadership, however you put it. Whether they do anything with that immediately is not necessary, really. However, he would really like, he thinks that maybe the neonates in the area might be a little guarded or uneasy at this point, especially with, the gangrels going rogue and now the sheriff gone. They might be looking for answers and a safe place for them to discuss, and for the rest of the coterie to subtly eavesdrop, might be a good idea.
Well then, who you invite to the table is going to be pretty important.
I would limit it to Queens. Yeah, Rikers is, I don't know if it's included in Queens, but it's definitely adjacent. So certainly wouldn't turn Carter down if he showed up. I'm with Joseph on that.
All right, then how are you going to contact all these people and let them know?
Word of mouth mostly to begin with. We know at least a handful of vampires here or there, and there's always some way to get in contact with someone. But small scale, nothing big, nothing flashy. If we're to do this, it's to be as small scale as we can while we're getting it started. The last thing we want to do at this moment is step on someone's toes.
All right, I tell you what. If we figure out where we want to do this, I can, if you want, ask Match to put the word out.
Yes, Byron and I just made a couple of small friends. Other people were learning some things with. There's got to be at least some people we know all over the place. Asking Matt to do it would be good. I'm trying to think. Does anyone else have any idea of who we can talk to?
Not really. I figure a match is a good idea, and then of course our two new contacts, or however you want to characterize them, we can tell them, and if they're interested and it spreads, then it does, and if it's a dead end, well, I mean, there's always Match. That's kind of my theory on it.
It's worth noting that Elysium can't actually be shut down. The two Elysium sites still exist. It's just that social events that might have been organized there sort of revolve around the Keeper of the Elysium, which was Sheriff Qadir al-Asmai. And his absence has sort of thrown the deputies as well as the Elysium security forces off kilter, as people end up being more concerned about what's happening more than anything else.
Right, and that's the angle Byron was going to try to play, is that perhaps the players that are not central to New York politics, the ones not in Manhattan, might want a place to voice their concerns with each other, given the vacuum that's arisen after the sheriff is gone. Not sure how well that'll play, but that's Byron's spin on it.
Essentially, while there is no Keeper of the Elysium, we want to sort of step in and see if some people will listen to us, talk with us, and essentially set up an Elysium, but as kindly and as not kindly, as how to phrase it, without actually ever calling it Elysium or making people think that that's what we're trying to do, without making it obvious that we're trying to nab the power.
Yeah, it'd just be like a Kindred town hall, because I'm sure that's done everywhere.
Sounds very anarchy.
Doesn't it?
You might as well just move to Staten Island.
I'm
I
actually
mean,
surprised.
until there's a new prince or sheriff, that's pretty much what all of the vampires here are.
Right, and I'm surprised when I was talking with Sean over Skype. He never had Joseph bring up the Anarchs at all. I think I brought it up once, but he avoided the topic, so I don't know. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, I kind of gave that information a bit in character, so I avoided the points that Joseph did not want to bring up, like the fact that this was an extremely anarch idea.
See, some
Right.
people are good with staying in character, Krypsyn.
Yeah. I'm slow going today. I apologize.
Okay, back in character. So does anyone have anything else they would like to bring up? Anything that happened over the week that we should be discussing?
If you guys want to know a place to party, I know many places to party.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Marcus and Joseph will give you a number of a cell phone he recently got.
You have all mine here. How can I help you?
Huh?
You gave me your number. Is there anything else you need?
No, just it's a new phone.
What happened to your old
It-
phone?
he never had one before.
Oh.
So we can check out that storage unit.
I mean, are we going to do anything else tonight? I mean, I kind of want to do it just because, you know, things being the way they are, I don't want to, you know, make them any worse.
Yeah, we might as well get around to that.
Yeah, I mean, after the events of last week, we might want to at least do what Theo Bell suggested we do. So, yeah.
I'm sure the
Yeah.
Archon doesn't mean it.
I'm sure that'll make him forgive us for everything.
Well, probably not, but at least maybe it'll keep him from looking in our direction for a nanosecond more.
More importantly, this is the security of your own domain.
Yeah, he'll probably try to kill us all again.
Again?
There's the possibility, at least.
Oh, you're talking about the first session, maybe. Not sure.
We're talking about the fact that the number that was tracked to that storage unit is affiliated with the guys who were bombing our places.
Oh, I thought he meant Theo Bell. I was like, I don't know that Theo Bell is trying to kill us right now.
No, I meant I was talking about the guy.
All right, everyone,
Gotcha.
stop. We're gonna collectively give Krypsyn a hug over the internet. All right, 1, 2, 3, hug.
Thanks, guys.
Jordan, Aaron, hug Krypsyn.
Hug.
I don't know how to do a correct hug without butt touching.
Well, then there you go.
That's cool.
Close enough.
You don't have to.
Close. All right.
So I guess we're going to head up on there? I mean, I would say use Jermaine's car, but I'm assuming Jermaine's car is still, you know, impounded.
I got it out that day.
You got it out last session. Yeah, it's outside right now.
We never even knew it was impounded until after it was already out of impound.
It's true.
That does remind me, though. I got a new car.
Another
Please
one.
let's not use it. Yes, please let's not use it. If it can be avoided, I'd like to keep it for more than a week.
Well, that reminds me, how'd you get to the new O'Malley Real Estate Agency? Who drove you?
Ring. And she's probably still outside. I didn't know how long it would take, how long this discussion
She's
would
dead.
take.
Just kidding.
No, don't kid.
Oh, damn it.
There you go. She's right outside. You can take a look and see.
Just had to make sure.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and go there? Might as well get that finished up.
Or I guess so. We're going to stop by my haven first of all. Well, you're going to stop near my haven, and I'm going to wander my way over there and get some stuff.
Yeah, Byron will do the same, and we should probably figure out how we're going to approach this warehouse. Byron is going to suggest that Joseph may want to obfuscate and scout ahead and see what's going on before we all just jump in.
He'll probably recognize... Ah, fuck. He'll probably recognize Jermaine's car, meaning we should take another one.
I love that epiphany he had. That was beautiful.
So, what do we do then?
I've got a new car.
Let's
There's
use the
no
new
way
car.
he'll recognize that.
Let's use the
I
new
guess
car.
we'll take... Yeah, we'll take it. We'll...
It's totally not going to get blown up. Totally.
Please don't park it anywhere near the gunfight.
I'm not the one driving it.
Look, I'm driving it.
I'm not on your insurance.
You have insurance, right?
He's
Like,
dead.
this is insured, right? Okay.
Alright, so, how we all going? Who's bringing what?
Well, I've got my stuff on me. I doubt we want to go in with heavy weaponry. Like, whatever the big stuff we have, whatever's left of it.
Like, almost nothing.
I do have my AK back at the thing if we really think we need another machine gun or something.
I'm bringing my vest at least.
Yeah, Byron's going to ask, why don't you think we need heavy weaponry? Because he was all set to get his SMG and Kevlar.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a warehouse. These things probably have cameras and things like that. Would be best if we can get in there quietly and at least get a look around things first.
I agree, but we don't know what kind of heavy weaponry this guy might have if he's even still there. I'd
Okay,
rather
I guess-
Been a week.
alive. I'd rather be alive and wanted by the police than dead.
I guess that's fair enough. Perhaps it is a little hard for me to fathom now that if things go wrong, I can just always run away.
Yep.
Marcus doesn't have his cool shotgun or his axe or his Kevlar vest anymore. But he still does have his pistol, and that's what he's going to get.
Okay.
You guys might want to stop by Match on your next payday. He's got what you need.
What we need is something thermonuclear.
All
But
right,
that's
so
another discussion.
what do you want Randy to do? Do you want her to take Jermaine's car? What do you want her to do? You want her to bunch up with you other four within your car, Joseph?
I'd rather, because he may recognize your card, Jermaine, I'd rather we all go in my new one. Do you think that's a fair enough assessment?
I mean, that's reasonable if you want to do that.
I would suggest, though, that if we do go, we park, say a quarter of a mile away or something like that, just a couple blocks, and then we can just walk the rest of the way, be less noisy, and wouldn't alert them that way. So it wouldn't really matter which car we took in that case.
True. If you want to walk, I'd assume I'd be walking in anyways. But it's up to you guys. If we're gonna do that, we might as well just pile in your car, Jermaine.
That works for me.
All right,
Okay,
Joseph.
Marcus.
So we're back to what do you want your Ghoul to do?
Drive home for the night. If once we're in his car and deciding where we're going to go, might as well have her drive home. I'm not sure if I'm gonna come back to here.
All right, Rain understands, and she'll giddy up, giddy up.
And I have a question. So Jermaine already has his vest, right?
Yes.
And nobody else is going home to get their stuff?
I mean, I need to go back and get my shit.
Oh, okay. In that case, then Byron, if nobody else was, Byron would just forego it just for expedience. But yeah, all right. So he'll. I don't know how long it'll take for him to get to his apartment and back, but then he'll meet up with you and head on out.
If you want me to grab the AK, we can stop by the church. But if neither of you want it, I'd rather just carry a pistol. I'm not good enough shot with it to really think it matters.
Byron figures it's entirely up to you if you want to bring it or not.
Well, all I'm saying is I'm offering it to one of you guys if you want it. If not, and no reason to drive all the way back to Flushing's.
Don't need anything.
No, Byron is fine with the compact SMG. He'll just put it under his sports coat. I think it can be hidden that way.
I'm good.
Well, it
We should
sounds like
definitely figure out where you guys want to host your Queen's coalition, though.
Yeah, but might as well handle this all first rather than trying to think about that and then getting all shot up and it not mattering.
I mean, we've got a bit of a drive while we're there. We've still got time to figure it out.
Byron will ask, what's wrong with using... can't believe I'm going to have him say this. What's wrong with not just using the realty office for it?
It's a bit small, and it's a bit too much ours, distinctly ours.
Yeah, that could draw a lot of notoriety.
Plus, it's an office building. We really want somewhere that at least has some kind of vibe of a meeting place, not just this shithole.
Well, and more importantly, somewhere that, a dozen strangers could show up in the middle of the night and not be looked at too strangely.
Plus, this place is hopefully kind of temporary. Hopefully we'll be able to get our other ones back, and we want something that'll last, something that we won't have to worry about anything.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say it sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I was going to say there's got to be something like a theater or something like that around that wouldn't be too conspicuous and a lot of people show up.
Like some kind of late night cinema or something?
Yeah, I know there's a business district and a shopping district in Astoria alone. I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of cinema around there too.
These would be things you have to acquire. There's no one late-night cinema in the real estate, current possession of O'Malley Real Estate.
Right, so that's something to look into maybe. Any other ideas that might be cheaper or faster?
Well, do we want to go, the question of do we want to go the cheap, fast route, the first thing that pops up that's cheap and that we can get our hands on, or do we want to scout a good place and do that? But if we do that, all the shit might hit the fan by the time we even get it set up, so...
You don't even necessarily need to own the place, you know?
Just renting it from someone else? Yeah, that is an option.
Or you could do something like hosting it at a restaurant or a nightclub or anywhere. You don't have to own or rent the place, you just have to have it be accessible to these people.
True, but we want at least some control over the area. I mean, how safe do you feel going in? Maybe it's a little different for you, but how safe do you feel going in a place where you know that anyone can just walk in, whether they're kindred or kind? There's no control over it.
Could do it in your church.
Oh, I was pressing the wrong button. We could have it both ways. We could rent a venue, say a nightclub or a restaurant or whatever, and see how many people show up. If it's popular, then we might invest more money into it at that point.
Yeah, that is one way to go, just somewhere temporary. As for the church, I'd much rather not at this point. So many people trouncing in and out of there all the time now. Geez, what was it, just a year or so ago? It was only me there.
How's the repairs going, by the way?
Slowly, like everything. Well, I got my insurance money hell of quick. I don't know how the hell that happened. But, you know how it is.
It's your halo effect and majestic voice or whatever. You know, you were able to convince those darn insurance jerks to give you your money. That's my theory.
It's not going to cost too much to repair the damage I did when I crashed into it, is it?
No, it's all should be, I'm not going to do, it wasn't any structural problems. Nothing fell down, so it's mostly cosmetic.
Well, that's good then.
Or at least I haven't been informed of any structural problems.
It'll be fine.
So I think it's time to get this thing on the road.
Oh, we're having this discussion in the car.
Drive, man, drive.
No, I've been driving.
Keep your eyes on the road.
My eyes are on the road.
Are they?
Yes.
Then what are these in my hand?
Not mine.
Ew.
Alright, who's driving, who's sitting where in this vehicle?
I'm going to be sitting in the back.
I'm driving.
Byron will also be in the back seat unless Joe jumps there first. He doesn't really care.
Then I'll take shotgun.
Okay. Your trip is, about as peaceful as a Sunday night can end up being. Time flashing by as you end up going into the Bronx and heading up towards the reported location of Bizarro self-storage. It's a good thing that, there aren't 19,000 of these units and that Perhaps someone did a little bit of scouting at like where this location might be, so that you all could have a sense of where it is. It's actually not that far from Muncie Hudson Expediting and Storage. You all end up getting into a rather unpopulated section of the borough here. As it turns out, you're heading closer and closer towards the outstretches of the New York City metropolitan area, heading towards Yonkers. And in the world of darkness, things just look so much bleaker compared to how they would have in real life, and a bit less population, and the world's just colored darkly. You all end up pulling to a stop. You did say you wanted to get a few blocks away. The whole bizarre self-storage building is actually pretty poorly lit. There is a fence around it, but the gates are actually open, and there are 4 possible avenues of approach from the northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. You all end up pulling the vehicle into a strip mall area, one that you think you'll be able to recognize. There's a landscape supply, school maintenance shop, a motorcycle shop, a plumbing shop, and oil change and lube, as well as a gas station. And from there, you all are free to make this approach to this building however you see fit. It's not exactly a building. There's how these self-storage things tend to be is that there's multiple units, and there's a road leading into them, and there's like from 4 directions: the northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. The interior of the units can only be accessed by going into the roads into like the whole interior of, I guess you could call it like a complex area.
Either the guy who can turn invisible or the one with super senses should take point.
Do you guys want me to scout ahead or come back, or do you want me to just hang around you guys while we all move in?
Byron will suggest scouting ahead, and then if you think it's safe, just call one of our cell phones or make it back to the car if you think that's better.
Well, I'd rather not make a call and suddenly appear when I figure out something. So if I'm going to scout ahead, I'm going to walk down there and walk back.
Yeah, Byron thinks that's a decent idea, but you know, he'll wait to see what Marcus and Jermaine think.
Works.
He has the best, although he doesn't not as, I guess, perceptive as me. I'm saying that not derisively or anything. You have higher dice pool, but prospects. He's the one most likely to not be seen doing anything, so yeah. It's a good idea.
Okay. Which of the 4 entry points into this location would you like to take? Northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. They all look the same.
Start with southeast.
Okie dokie.
And I'll simply obfuscate and make my way as slowly as I can.
That would be standing still.
As slowly as I can without looking, while actually making reasonable progress.
Alright, everyone should be loading up the Bizarro self-storage map, and whenever that happens, you all should get a rather dim view of where your tokens are. Let me know when you've loaded the map.
Got some big images on this one?
Not really. It's mostly just painted on.
All right, I'm loaded.
Same.
I'm in.
I am too.
Now Special vision restrictions are in place on this map. As I've said, the lighting lamppost, which you all can see basically a lamppost near you all. There's not exactly a lamppost token I have. Do not provide a whole lot of light. As you can see, there are extensive periods of shadow from one lamppost to the next. And consequently, it will be very difficult for you all to see. I will be revealing area to you all, or just to one of you, although you all should be able to see what the other person's seeing as you move forward. But be very careful with your steps. Whenever you've moved to a position that I want you to stop at, I will tell you to stop. Joseph is currently obfuscated, so the others cannot see him.
I believe the plan was for Joseph to go ahead and, scout things out.
I think so.
I'm gonna get my flashlight ready.
Okay, that said, I thought I was starting in the southeast corner. I don't see any actual direction I can move towards the northwest.
Well, you're in the southeast. The buildings, they're actually buildings to your north. You'd have to be following along the road. You took the southeast access point.
Okay, so I'm just the block right now north of us is a wall.
Yeah, the block right north of you is a wall. I apologize for that not being more clear on this dark map. Are you actually able to move? Okay, you can. Good. I didn't know whether you'd be able to move through the darkness areas.
Yeah, it looks like I can from one to the next, but I can't actually drop my token in the blackness.
Yeah. You can see, you can continually see all the way down this, the narrow access. You can see the other entry point all the way down on the other end. And of course, further up ahead, there's an intersection of sorts that, it takes you into where all the, basically, the entry points for the garages are located. Here, it's a bit better lit, but, the lampposts don't quite cover the entirety of everything. Off over there in the parking lot, you can see a cherry red truck. You should be able to anyway.
Yeah, I see it.
And of course, far further up north, you can see where the other access area would be. Alright, I want you to stop. You should also end up seeing, probably not so much, over there in the west. Yep. What ends up looking like it's very difficult to tell in the dim shadows, but it's a navy blue sedan. And squinting and trying to listen really closely, you can hear the sounds of people conversing. It's carrying on the wind a bit, though, so you're not exactly sure how many people are, but there are definitely people standing there under the shadows of one of the lights.
Okay, anyone notice me? Anything I can do, or can I move again?
You can keep going, you so wish. Doesn't appear like anyone has reacted to you.
Okay, guys.
Joseph
Just
suddenly
straight up.
appears in front of you.
You should be used to that by now. Straight in, just you see the entrance right there. Turn left, and there is someone there. It's really dark. Can't get a good look at him. I think it's the same guy, and there are other people there.
How many others?
I think 5, at least, maybe more. Maybe less, probably at least 5.
Alright, what do we want to do here? Call in reinforcements or leave?
We don't really have any reinforcements we can call in.
Does Marcus not have a phone with Archon Bell's number in it?
I do.
It's not a number. I mean, you could dial it back, but it's just like one private unlisted number calling another private unlisted number. You don't know the exact digits are, just that you could press send on the phone.
I can get a hold of him, I believe.
Well, I mean, I'm not in the mood to take on 5 Sabbat alone.
So you're saying I should call him and ask what?
It's up to you guys. It seems to me we're in a position where we either need to get reinforcements or we need to leave.
I don't know if we should be calling Theo Bell on every little thing. We are supposed to be taking care of this ourselves, aren't we? I mean, he gave us the lead, not the other way around. From Byron's point of view, he says, well, I mean, we could wait around and see if maybe somebody leaves or they distribute, or, Joseph can scout around the other entrances of the building. Maybe there's a softer entrance. We could sneak up on them or something.
And do what? We don't have any explosives. We don't have anything to even the odds.
Well, I mean, more information is always useful, whether we put it to use right this second or the next night or whenever. Doesn't matter so much. We just we can come back. The more information we have, the better off we'll be. But if they're all standing, I mean, they were standing outside in the parking lot talking, or were they inside the warehouse?
They were, Joseph would know that they were right outside a storage 7A unit. The door was open to it, a big metal grating door that was slid up, but he could not see past the sliver of entrance there.
Well, we might want to get more information on that. I mean, if they're at a storage facility, I don't know if they're going to be standing around all night. Some or all of them might decide to leave, and we can follow them, or we can attack whomever is left. I mean, we can make the decision at that point.
Well, one thing to keep in mind is my obfuscate's not perfect. Even if no one can straight up just pierce it, I can still stub my toe, I can still knock something over. Things can go wrong. And if I'm over there and things go wrong, it's going to be very difficult for me to get back over here. I'm not sure if I can poke my head in there and look inside their storage unit without them realizing it.
Oh, that wasn't what Byron meant. He meant that you can scout from where you were. I mean, if you could, I guess you could see them. So you'll see maybe what they're handling. You don't need to go inside. You can keep a safe distance.
Okay, well, I'll go stand there and get a good look and see if there's any other details I can pick out. That said, that's more of Marcus's thing. It shouldn't be too difficult to come up there and just poke your head, just peek one eye right around that corner and see if there's, with your better eyes and things, see if there's nothing you can spot that's particularly useful.
By the way, I've gone ahead and given all of the PCs a little light radius of 1, just in case. And I've also given the NPCs on the map a little light radius of 1 as well, so that they're better visible.
Yeah, Byron is actually fine with going ahead and trailing both you and Marcus. Yeah, because he's not going to be sitting at this corner all night. There's no way Byron's going to stand for that.
You want to get off me?
No, man. Betting, don't you know?
Alright, go ahead and move as your characters would, in whatever formation they see fit. And I will actually be rolling some dexterity plus stealth for all of you secretly.
So I guess I'm going first. Just making sure about this.
I'm obfuscating and staying in character. I'll stay right near you, so just count on me not to bump into you. Don't worry about me that way. But I'll be right next to you all the way.
Okay.
We need to get a periscope or something.
I'm humming the Pink Panther theme to myself, by the way.
Are you sure you wish to go up here? You can see there in the parking lot, the vehicles, of course, the cherry red truck, and over there on the right side there's a dark gray truck as well.
There, I'll stand behind this corner.
I'm going to need to get closer.
Stop.
I was planning on stopping here anyways.
Okay. Marcus, over there by the storage A unit, you see 5 individuals. Pistol guy, of course, ends up looking as you ended up remembering him. Swarthy, muscular vampire with dark hair, tattoos on his arms, a muscle shirt, and dark jeans. About the only thing that's changed would be his confidence replaced with what seems like a measure of concern in the dim light. Next to him is a red-haired woman who looks like she's been a punk for nearly 20 years now, with layered red hair and tight leather clothes that belong in the 80s. Her pale frame, which appears to be in its mid-20s, looks clearly defined in the dim light, suggesting a life of physical violence long before she became a vampire. The tall, gaunt man standing next to her appears to be in his late 20s. He has fine Eastern European features, made all the more noticeable by his gaunt body and wan complexion. A series of 3 metal piercings adorns the bridge of his nose, and his fangs are currently distended. He too is wearing a shabby collection of punk-era leather to go along with his blonde mohawk, but he's definitely wearing more clothes than the red-haired woman, and it looks as if his leather is designed to provide comfortable protection. He's also very tall, taller than everyone here. Looks like he's even taller than Marcus by a few inches. The short, bulky man next to the tall guy, he appears to be in his mid-teens. He looks compact and powerful, with wide, alert eyes, but a casual posture. But he is on edge while observing the gentleman half steeped in shadows. His clothes are quite soiled with blood, Marcus can tell even from this distance, as he's been through numerous tumbles, or simply doesn't care to freshen up every night. Now, all 4 of them aren't immediately looking at the corner where Marcus is standing, because all of their attention is directed towards one gentleman, whose features are very hard to make out. He appears to be in his early 30s, though, standing at just over 6 feet tall, with a ramrod straight carriage and large, calloused hands. He has a black, neatly trimmed beard that matches his short, spiky hair and menacing eyes which are currently glowing a crimson red. His garb is practical, albeit out of place. They're black military fatigues with the boots to match. His light countenance is a bit reddish, as if he's just come from a hard day's work in the sun. He has a lowering aura about him, a propinquity of terror, which threatens to make your knees buckle from under you. And his head swivels to look at the corner where Marcus is standing. Marcus, this is Archbishop Francisco Domingo de Polonia.
Before you say roll initiative, I'm running. Run very fast.
Okay.
As fast as can.
You three-player characters, describe how Marcus reacts beyond running.
He's not going to say anything. He's just running. His face is just going to literally go whiter than it has been, you know. Like white with fear, and he's just going to book it. Gone.
Okay, Marcus makes no attempt to disguise his sounds as he begins fucking running. Go ahead and move your token as you run to the corner.
Alright, as soon as he rounds that corner, Jermaine's gonna be like, oh shit, and start running as well.
Yeah, Byron's going to follow suit. He's certainly not going to try to fight whatever's chasing Marcus.
Guys. New plan. We throw in with the Sabbat and have Archbishop Polonia come back. I'm kidding, but
yeah, if you said that,
he's here. He's here, but just keep running. Don't stop running. Never stop running.
Yeah, I'm basically running all the way back to the car.
All right, the four of you hoof it as fast as your little itty-bitty feet can carry you out of Pizarro's self-storage, fleeing as fast as you can for Jermaine's car in the very dim light of northern Bronx.
Just get in the car. Drive.
Yeah, no, as soon as the car is in motion, I'm going to yell at Marcus to call Theo Bell.
10 steps ahead of you. You know, I'm pressing the button that says dial Theo Bell.
Okay. It doesn't actually end up ringing once.
We're sorry, the number that you have dialed is disconnected. We apologize for the inconvenience.
Guys, I can't get a hold of Theo Bell. So I think the plan is we need to get a hold of someone who can, you know, help us out now.
Where's Jermaine driving?
Away for now.
Jermaine drives away from Pizarro's self-storage.
Well, we need to tell someone.
Well, we could tell the sheriff, oh, right.
Exactly.
Are you sure that was the Archbishop? Come on.
Well, you said it was the Archbishop, Grimith.
Right. So everyone's going to immediately believe that you saw him in the dim light? I'm just curious about that.
Marcus believes who he is.
I believe it's 5 members of the Sabbat, even if he's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also the only one here who's actually seen Polonia before.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Marcus made so much noise running that like Aaron says, it doesn't much matter who they are. They know someone was there, so GTFO.
So do you guys have any actual contacts within the Camarilla?
Outside of Valentine?
Do you have Valentine's contact information?
No, but I know Valentine.
Alright, what about that Vanderwayne character?
David knew him.
Yeah, I mean, the best bet for Valentine would be to go to the middleman. But who knows if Valentine would be there? Who knows if we could even get in?
So the three of you basically don't know anyone that you could tell this to.
Yeah, see, that's kind of the problem we were having from the start.
Right, and the whole reason we were trying to get allies in Queens.
Off in the distance, a very immense, insanely, ridiculously bright light appears to come on in its pure white brilliance, almost seeming as if it's ended up radiating from Bizarro's self-storage. Whoever has ended up being there at the time is most likely very much blind, particularly if they ended up using heightened senses. You are several blocks away, but trying to look at the car almost out of looking behind you in the shadows to see whether someone is stalking you. There's this immense brilliant light where the dim light used to be.
I'm glad we got out of there when we did.
All right, how did Mr. Green contact Vander Weyden? Do you guys know that?
He went to his law offices in Manhattan.
I'm not going there again.
If need be, I'll go there, taking Byron with me.
Yeah, Byron will go. He's not crazy about the idea, but he'll go if that's what we decide.
I mean, it worked last time. The only other person we have even a modest bit of rapport with is Valentine, and we have no idea how to contact him.
And we don't need to call or make an appointment or something, right?
I think, didn't we make an appointment last time?
We did. We called up and got a receptionist or personal assistant or something, I think, last time.
Yeah, and Byron, you said something about wanting to get some land on Riker Island.
Right. So that would be the code phrase, I guess, to get his attention. But, I mean, Byron is a little confused. Once we get there, what are we even going to say to Carter Vander Weyden? Oh, yeah, by the way, Theo told us to go check out this warehouse, and Bishop Polonia was there. What can Vander Weyden do about it? Except
pass the information on to other people that,
He at least has more contacts than you do.
Yeah.
That is true.
Assuming he finds any of you to be credible at all.
Oh, if he doesn't believe us, that's whatever. There's nothing we can do about that. It's just got to do something.
Jermaine, you're actually attentive. You are the only one who ends up noticing this. You still haven't gotten very far from the very massively brightened and lit up Bizarro self-storage. There is a navy blue sedan flying out there like a bat out of hell. It doesn't look like it's heading towards you. And it is heading south towards Manhattan. Full fucking speed. Easily exceeding 140 miles per hour. Does not give a fuck.
Maybe we should turn around and check out that storage facility.
It's an idea, I guess.
Jermaine was the only one who noticed this.
Oh.
What does Jermaine say then?
The sedan's heading south. I don't know where the other cars are going. They might still be there.
Does anyone think it's a good idea to go back? 'Cause I sure the hell don't.
No.
Well, there is a bright light. Those folks are stunned. I mean, Byron kind of wants to know what's going on there. Because and we're not going to follow that car because it's going 140 miles an hour. I think. I don't know how good your driving is, Jermaine, but I don't know if we could even track them and not draw.
Whoever's driving that vehicle does not give a fuck.
Right. So I mean, assuming Jermaine says that points the car out or mentions that it was, flying like a bat out of hell, he's probably going to say, obviously shit went down there. I don't know how much challenge there's going to be left to be there,
or they're trying to get somewhere before we can tell someone what we saw. There's a lot of explanations other than that one.
Or everyone got blown up by Polonia there.
Well, I mean, even doing a drive-by to see what state that sort of facility is might be a decent idea. Like from a block away, because there's that parking lot, and we could just look across that and see if it's still standing, if people are around. I don't know. That's Byron's idea anyway.
The light is from the Bizarre Self-Storage, actually ends up going back to being dim again, with a rather sudden starkness. The blue sedan, for all it's worth, is continuing to zip past, and at the rate it is traveling, apparently whoever's driving it is very capable at avoiding traffic. Moving too quickly in a blur for any of you to even remotely discern, it easily sweeps on down past. And rather crazily enough, you see this fucking vehicle moving at ridiculously fast speeds within the streets of northern Bronx heading towards Manhattan hook a rather goddamn epic turn. The car almost coming off of all of its wheels. But it slams back down, and it darts down another street. Out of view.
So really, let's go tell someone.
Nobody else wants to see what the state of that storage facility is in.
Nope.
No.
You can get out of the car if you want, Byron, and go check.
No, he was thinking of a drive-by of some sort, so he just... If nobody else is going to turn this car around, then he's just going to go with it.
If there was an explosion or anything like that, we'll hear about tomorrow in the news.
An explosion we didn't cause or have a part in, really, much at all. That's a first.
Either we're not going to be able to see anything worth noting, or it will be on the news, or the danger is still there.
Or some combination of the above. Danger's still there, it be on the news, we all die.
But you
Basically,
don't
it's
think,
a bad going back.
if we were to drive within 2 blocks of it, or and just look to see if it's still standing, if there are dead bodies or whatever, do you think
the building didn't explode? You kind of would have heard that even inside the car.
There wasn't a boom.
Right, but I mean, there was a big light. Who knows what else happened? I mean, that's what Byron wants to know. I mean, it was a big light. Was there combat there? Was anybody hurt? I mean, they've got that car flying away.
And if Polonia's waiting there for us?
If he's waiting there for us and we go back, it's a horrible thing. If he's not and we go back, we don't get much or anything at all.
That's the question, though. I mean, this is what Byron will posit to everyone. He doesn't have an idea here. It's like, yeah, but if we drive by going about 15, 20 miles an hour, and we are a couple of those blocks away, and let's say Polonia is there, what are the chances that he will be able to destroy us before we get out of range, like slamming on the gas?
If he wants to, I'd be willing to bet 100%.
He is a quite powerful person, and he's a person apparently that Lombacher isn't either respected or at least deemed to notice. So yes, he could probably very easily kill us. And if he's not there, and we just drive by, we're not going to see very much of anything because he's going to tell us anything. So at this point, let's just try to tell someone that we saw Archbishop Polonia in the city.
Yeah, Byron's going to sigh, shake his head, but he'll say, all right, whatever.
So, Byron, you want to call ahead, or should we just pop in?
All right, well, I guess Byron will call up the Van der Weyden offices.
You have the number memorized?
Well, all right. I would have thought it would have been put into the phone, but wait.
Does he collect every random number?
No. You're right. We used
Yes.
Green used his phone. So yeah, it would have been in his phone, not in Byron. So yeah, he doesn't know the number. Not off the top of his head.
It'll probably be in a phone book.
Yeah, want to stop somewhere and look through the yellow pages.
I can pull over to payphone.
Yep, sounds good. Byron will jump out, leaf through the yellow pages, and if and when he finds the number, he'll give it a call.
And there you go, payphone out over cell phones yet again. See, it's just a passing fad.
Okay. You get a ring, but as it turns out, there's no response because,
It's
Sunday night, early Monday morning.
Yeah, Byron is unsurprised.
You end up getting switched to basically, this blare of when the office hours are, and, call back during normal office hours along with some, sweet music as, some soft feminine voice tells you about all of the great things the Close Hoffman firm is doing.
All right,
To Elysium,
Byron's just going to hang up the phone, and he'll get back in the car, and he'll say, yeah, nobody's there.
Then to Elysium, the middleman. Where to?
Byron's going to say the middleman. Maybe we can get lucky and catch Lorenzo and or Valentine. Well, Lorenzo's not going to be that useful, but maybe he'll know where Valentine may or may not be.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter where we hit up first.
To the middleman, then.
Okay. You all head to the middleman. Which actually looks closed too whenever you get there. Sunday night, early Monday morning.
To Elysium.
Which Elysium?
Madison Square Gardens.
Is there a game tonight?
No.
Yeah, what time is it, by the way?
You check the clock, it is 11:22.
Well, I guess we're going to the garden.
Do you guys want to listen to anything in particular? NPR, local rock station. Anything?
Gospel?
How about we
Byron
keep
likes
the
talk
radio
music.
off?
Jazz it
NPR is
is.
fine with Byron.
Jazz it is.